'cause baby, you're down with more, lots more.
Folks, welcome to the show where you win more, lots more just by tuning in, because it is not the show where it's wrestling with your budget. It is not the show where it's wrestling with your conscience. This is wrestling with emotion. And we've got a nice little Sunday on tap. We have an AEW pay-per-view, and the time has come for the AEW superstars, wrestlers, had to show what they got at AEW Dynasty. So let's get our Dynasty in here. We got a guy, might as well call him AC Slater because he was saved by the bell. Slick L. You got the Prophet, Rob Bryan, and we got the head of the table of Wrestling with Emotion, Michael J. Partham. Gentlemen, happy AEW Dynasty Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday fun day. We're here. Rob, nice hat, dude. You look great.
Thanks.
Yeah, look at these coattail riders. Both these guys stealing your sunglasses indoors.
Whoa, know your role and shut your mouth. Slick, know your role, shut your mouth, and take those glasses off. I do like to compliment, but this is my goddamn show, and only I get to wear sunglasses on this damn show.
Do something about
it. Okay, I like that. We're feisty up to start on this AEW Dynasty Sunday. Gents, obviously it's been I don't know if you would say it's been a quote-unquote great build, but there have been great events, there have been great matches, and there have been great moments on the way to this Dynasty build. So with that said, I know that I feel like, disqualifying Swerve, Joe, and Danielson-Ospreay, what is your favorite match that you're looking forward to most tonight?
You can go first, Partham.
I think the intrigue over the Willow and Julia match, because there's a lot of moving parts there and a lot of options to go into the Mercedes match at Double or Nothing. So I'm just looking forward to how it's all going to work itself out.
Yeah, that's one of the good ones, but I'm looking forward to the ladder match. Obviously, we all know ladder matches, and that's been like, even though the best build probably has been Joe and Swerve, the most controversy within AEW right now is within that tag match. Obviously, we talked about it. We all know what they did to try to build the match. We all had the disagreements on if it helped or why they did it, but I think that has the most intrigue. And obviously, we've seen those two teams go at it, and we'll see another banger tonight from those two.
Yeah, for sure, Rob. I mean that match might steal the show. Obviously, ladders involved, and I think I said last show that we had, every time those two tag teams wrestle, I will watch. It's a bit overdone, but with the ladders now, why not? Let's get it. I love the intrigue on the Willow-Julia match, but just to be different, I think my match I'm looking for is going to be Pat's Go. I think that one is really going to steal the show.
I think you're right. That definitely has the ability to steal the show. On our, earlier in the week show on Thursday or on Wednesday, I talked about, how I was most looking forward to this Women's World Championship, the prestige, the class, the, genuine ability from the timeless Toni Storm. But you know what? The more I think about it, this is going to be a squash. There's no reason that match should go more than 90 seconds. So I'm going to actually divert my attention to something that needs my attention, something that needs AEW's attention. And that is this FTW championship with Jarrett Hook involved. Because what needs to happen is Hook needs to put this dog out to rest. Hook needs to stomp out Chris Jericho and establish a new legacy, a new era of AEW where nobody has to go through the Jericho vortex to get over. And Hook proves that he can do it himself. But before we get into the match predictions, anything else? Any other points anybody wants to make?
That's hilarious.
Obviously, should be a good one and may see a return or two. We'll talk about it later, but
indubitably,
we'll see if the scapegoat comes back.
Okay.
Maniac. What about your girl, Timeless Toni Storm, giving the fire promo the other night?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tony doing what Tony does. Yeah, like that doesn't even surprise me. Obviously, I mean, someone had to build this matchup, Partham. Someone had to put butts in the seats, and Thunder Rosa wasn't doing it.
Sake, it's definitely not fun.
With all due respect,
she asked for it to not be in black and white for a specific reason. I thought it was a nice touch.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, Timeless is what Timeless does. Sometimes just because, she can go back to that era of when things were like a different class and she could show that off. She can then come back just like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. She can just come into any portal anytime she wants, Partham. That is what makes you truly timeless. And by the way, speaking of timeless, you can have a timelessly fun time at Batavia Downs, the region's premier entertainment destination. If you can't make it out to Batavia, go and hit up your local OTB to get on the action this Kentucky Derby season. Speaking of the season and speaking of picks, is it time to get into it?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have picks updates for this week or for records updates. I'll swallow the salt on that one.
And he's supposed to be the
fair.
host of this show.
Yeah, I agree. That's
I mean, we should spare these guys the horror of realizing that I'm still the head of the table around here. So let's let them.
It doesn't matter about your opinion.
4 weeks.
Holy shit.
That was pretty good. But with that said, let's get into it with our Dynasty picks. And so we got these on the pre-show. Parthy and I were going back and forth on the exact order of this. Last on the pre-show, or what do you think is going to be the first show of the night, Parthy? Or first match of the night?
I think they want to build the pre-show. I think out of all three, and even though it doesn't mean much, I think the trios title unification might go last. Because the other two are kind of like meh. We're very, very last-minute additions. The trios title match unification was a last-minute addition for a week in advance, but these other two were kind of like, in the last few days additions.
Okay, gotcha. So we'll probably see Orange Cassidy versus Katsuyori Shibata versus Shane Taylor Promotions. What do you got, Slick?
Oh, I mean, like I said before, it kind of doesn't make sense that Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy are in separate matches on the 0 hour. I think there's going to be some shenanigans here where Trent maybe wins his match. I mean, if this is the first match, I don't know. I really don't know how that's going to happen, but Trent Beretta is going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, even if it's after the match. But there's no reason why Shane Taylor Promotions should win this. Orange Cassidy and Shibata, obviously.
Yeah, I think that, like Slick was saying, I think the Beretta match should go first. I mean, like Maniac was saying, these two matches just don't make sense. If they were going to do a match, they should have done Orange Cassidy versus Beretta, but I guess they're building that for a bigger one. But for this one, I got to go Cassidy and Shibata.
I mean, Shane Taylor Promotions is basically cannon fodder. I mean, Trent Beretta could get involved after the match, depending on which match goes first. He could, just run down Orange Cassidy, just to get revenge on him. Not necessarily cost him the match, but Trent Beretta's got his own match, and he's got his Matt Sydal to beat up as well, which we're about to get into. But yeah, Orange Cassidy's a fan favorite. Shane Taylor Promotions really means nothing significant, so Orange Cassidy, yeah.
Yeah, I think people are liking the Shibata gimmick for sure. Whatever he's got going on. Orange Cassidy as well. This is a no-brainer. Take the easy pick on the pre-show. Orange Cassidy and Shibata. It's a clean sweep here on Wrestling with Emotion. Will it be the same for Trent Beretta versus Matt Sydal? I'll start it off. I got Sydal winning this one. So might be off, might be fodder, but I'm going to take Sydal to win. Maybe a little friction, maybe a little issue. Something that rubs Trent Beretta the long way. Puts a little friction between the best friends. That's all I'm saying. Matt Sydal to win. It's like, what do you got?
Maniac, we're best friends, I would say, but we're in two different lanes on this pick. And Trent Beretta is winning this match. Matt Sydal, I mean, he has no business being on the 0 hour of a pay-per-view at this point in his career. Trent Beretta, they're going to build Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy. Like I said, Trent's going to be involved probably after the match in that Orange Cassidy situation, if I had to guess. So I'm taking Trent here.
Yeah, I think this needs no explanation. I'm going Trent.
Trent Beretta just turned heel. They got to start building him up as that. Trent. Matt Sydal means nothing.
Okay.
Right
all right.
Good
Evan
ring
Bourne?
guy, but he's not being built.
Evan Bourne means nothing to you?
This isn't Nexus
Good in-ring
anymore.
guy, but he's not being built as a mega guy.
He is a great in-ring guy. I do want to say that. I'm not taking anything away from Matt Sydal or Evan Bourne's career. I personally, growing up in the WWE, loved him. I thought he was
sick.
always great, always fun to watch. As someone who likes wrestling, I'm not talking to anyone, Dwayne, but yeah, Matt Sydal, he's great. A must watch when he's in the ring. Great in ring competitor. One of the best wrestling moments ever. Arguably the RKO out of the Airborne. I mean,
It's a good seller.
it takes two to tango, and
Evan Bourne will always have a
Bourne-
place in that, picture of brand new champions right around like 2011, 2012, wherever it was, where you had Punk and Danielson and I think it was Beth Phoenix and a bunch of other people. I think Cody Rhodes was in there as the Intercontinental Champion. He'll always have a place in that immortal photo.
I agree. Yeah, he deserves his flowers. I don't want to take anything away from him.
You're right. That photo's got to be like the most crowning achievement of his career, right? Like, I hate to say it, the fact that he's in that photo.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, that's all. All right. So you guys got me. I think maybe you're sleeping on Sydal, but we'll see. Let's get into a match that'll probably be the main event of the 0 hour. Bullet Club Gold against the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. Sorry, lost my track here. In a 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Trios Championship. Parthy, why don't you start us off and we'll wrap around. Who do you got winning this match on what should be the main event of the pre-show 0 hour?
All right. My thoughts were that Bullet Club Gold needs this. You don't need to highlight me necessarily, but
No,
Bullet Club Gold needs
Yeah,
it because they have had the shine on them for a while. And Jay White was thrown around like a rag doll by Badass Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass Billy Gunn, whatever you want to call him. And they really need to get they should go over, but I have a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling, and I've heard the theory, and it might apply to a couple other matches on the card here, that because Bullet Club Gold were one of the original colliders, as it were, and that's just a code name for being one of Punk's guys, that they're kind of in the doghouse, so to speak. Not like a really bad doghouse, but like a not going over doghouse. So, and not to mention, in the straight up tag match on Collision, Bullet Club Gold went over on the Acclaimed. And you know what that, in Wrestling 101, what that is code for. So even though as a booker, if I personally would have booked this match, I would give it to Bullet Club Gold. All the signs, all the, reading between the line signs kind of point to the Acclaimed. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, guys, but I'm picking the Acclaimed right now.
Wait, my first thoughts is have we been mismanaging this show? Are we supposed to put all the Punk guys in the doghouse?
I mean, if we were doing that on this show, the roster of this show would have been very slim a long time ago if we were doing that. A lot of Punk ass kissers in this chat. Just saying.
There are a lot of Punk ass kissers for sure. All right. But yeah, I like your thought. I like your school of thought, Parthy. Rob Ryan, what do you got? What do you got happening to this 0 hour main event?
Yeah, well, first, I'm just going to add on to what Parthy said out. He's interested in our opinions. I'm not interested in any of your damn opinions. So, I don't care what any of you say. Oh, but back to this match. First, this should not be on the pre-show. This is one of the better builds they've been building for a while now with these two teams. So I don't know why they're on 0 hour over, Jarrah Cooked over there. But I think Daddy Ass is going to give a little ass whipping to the Ass Boys one last time. They got to be taught a lesson, and Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed will teach them a lesson.
Interesting. Yeah, I totally agree. This should not be on the 0 hour. I think we talked about this on Thursday. There are a couple matches that you could probably switch out with this, but I'm actually going to go with the Bang Bang Gang, Bullet Club Gold. I think it's just flat out disrespectful at this point. If Jay White takes another loss, I think you got to send him to the moon in a singles storyline. And even if it was the Guns taking the pin, I think it's not great to have him taking a loss at this point in AEW. So I'm going to go with the Bang Bang Gang. The Acclaimed are very over. Daddy Ass possibly takes the pin. He's probably hanging him up soon anyway. So who knows? Maybe one of the Guns pins their dad. We'll see.
Yeah, I
on
can
that,
see.
Slick, one thought on that, Slick. If they want to put Jay White into more of a singles role, wouldn't it make sense to get a trios title off of him so he doesn't have to be bothered with that?
Yeah, for sure. But, some extra hardware never weighs down the soldier.
All right. Maniac, what are your thoughts?
No, I subscribe to Slick's school of thought. Truthfully, I think that the Bullet Club Gold should win this match if they want to best for longevity of AEW. The Acclaimed has had a run at the top here, at the top of whether it was the tag team picture or the trios picture here for basically the last 2 years. So this is a great opportunity to kind of transmit some of that energy, some of that vibe to Bullet Club Gold, which you're going to need. You're going to need more teams at the top of the trios division that can carry it and compete there. And listen, I don't think being a trios team like holds, the Guns back from being in the tag team like Chase. I don't think it holds back Jay White from being in the single title chase. As AEW has shown, these belt pictures can get crazy. So with that said, a lot to say. I agree with Slick, and that I got Bullet Club Gold winning this match on the 0 hour part of the card. So we're a little bit split there. So very interesting to see. And we'll continue along. Speaking of splits, these two used to be best friends, and now they're bitter enemies fighting for a title. Tell me if you ever heard that before. Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly for the AEW International Championship. I'll kick this one off. I think Roderick Strong's got a lot of momentum with his storyline. I don't know if they're completely out on like the Kingdom and everything side of things with Strong, Cole being out, etc. But I think they're going to try and keep this title in spot and keep some stability there. Roderick Strong retains over Kyle O'Reilly. Slick, what do you got?
Yeah, I think I'm in agree. I agree with you here. Kyle O'Reilly, although just came back and deserves some good spots, I think this will actually be a great match. I just want to say that as well. Really looking forward to it. This is like some NXT takeover vibes for sure. And we got the international championship involved for AEW. I am going to take Roderick Strong to retain as well. And I think that's going to be due to Undisputed Kingdom shenanigans ringside to cost Kyle O'Reilly. I think Kyle O'Reilly just straight up taking a pinfall to Roderick Strong this soon after coming back kind of be a low blow. So no pun intended, that might be what costs him the match from some interference. I'm going to take Roderick Strong to retain.
Yeah, especially I'm going to go with Strong also. I think this is one of those titles in AEW that they don't really switch hands much. We obviously saw Orange Cassidy have it for a very long time, and the Undisputed Kingdom has kind of been a little weird ever since, because obviously their leader is not around. But I don't think they take the title off of Strong just yet. So I'm going Roderick Strong.
Yeah, it's only been 1 month. His first pay-per-view title defense, and now pay-per-views are coming a little closer together. So it would be too much of a transitional thing to have a pay-per-view win and then a pay-per-view loss this close together for Roderick Strong in that title. So I think they're going to stretch the storyline out with Kyle O'Reilly a little bit more, even if he might ultimately win the international title. There might be more to, Roderick wanting Kyle to join, and the shenanigans of the Kingdom basically is Roderick's way of convincing Kyle to join, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen every time you come after me or anybody else when you're just on your own. So anyway, Roderick, for the time being, he's going to retain.
All right, so we sweep across the Strong style table there. Let's go to a match that maybe might have us a little divided. We got Team Cope, as I'm calling them. I know they wanted some other type of nickname, but I'm going with Team Cope. Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. By the way, very rare in wrestling world to have 3 guys that basically just use their real names, if I'm not mistaken, versus the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews in a 6-man tag team match. So this has become kind of a blood feud. Everyone's been showing up in everyone's spots. Adam Copeland obviously is the new TNT champion, but that's not going to be defended at this pay-per-view. It's instead going to be a big match here. I think this gives his team the opportunity to lose, but Parthy, why don't you kick us off with the picks here Team Cope versus House of Black.
Yeah, this is one of the harder ones that I've had to think about. This is the same kind of spot that the Bullet Club Gold are in, where the House of Black you would think needs their shine. But then again, if you subscribe to the whole, who was on Collision early on theory, and who's on there might be on their way out of AEW when their contract is up, 2/3 of the House of Black, perhaps. Some people have been saying, Malachi Black might need this win to set up a TNT title shot against Adam Copeland, but maybe he doesn't necessarily need that in order to set it up. Maybe that one of the other House of Black guys could take a pinfall, and Malachi can find another way to instigate a TNT title shot with Adam Copeland. But you got 3 guys on one side, 3 individuals very popular, and they're all individual champions at this point. And not to mention the Wrestling 101 theory, the team House of Black, where Copeland had a mixed tag with Willow Nightingale. They went over with Willow being essentially submitted, where the match was stopped and she couldn't respond or whatever. So for the time being, I'm taking Team Adam to go over the House of Black.
Yeah, I think this should be a pretty good match. Obviously, we've stated 2/3 of the House of Black are going. I do disagree. Obviously, I don't agree with any of you, but I disagree with Malachi Black possibly needing a win over Cope, because Copeland was the one that called out Malachi Black. So if Copeland wants that match, Malachi Black will get that match. And I don't think they have Copeland lose I think he'll win a few matches. Obviously, he lost the other day. I don't think he'll lose 2 matches in a row, even if it is in a tag match. So I'm going Team Cope.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Team Adam. Team Adam. I mean, this should be a great match, and it kind of bothers me, the House of Black maybe taking an L, but like you said, 2 of their guys might be on the way out. So I'm gonna go Team Cope, but I would love to see Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black in singles competition on Dynamite, potentially. Tony Khan, if you're listening.
At the end of the day, is House of Black just going to be remembered as a Temu Judgment Day?
That's a very good point, actually.
Who came first, Judgment Day or House of Black?
I think House of Black came first.
House of Black.
But at the end of the day, I think House of Black kind of peaked early. Like, I would say House of Black probably peaked when Aleister Black was going after Cody.
One X factor I want to mention, I mentioned this in the chat. Where has Christian Cage been since he lost to the TNT title? Could he be an X factor and make some kind of his presence known in this match, possibly?
That is true. He could definitely do. That is a good point by you.
Patriarchy is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I'll stick with Team Adam as my pick, but that's an X factor you have to look out for.
He's just doing his dad rules outside right now.
I would love to see the Team Cope celebrating and then the countdown.
I was gonna say this is not gonna be. If he interfered, I wouldn't see it as in the match and costing them the match. I would see it as they're celebrating and the lights go out or something, and
Well, the lights going out is more of a House of Black.
Briscoe, but that's the thing. That everybody thinks it's a House of Black thing, but then Christian and all of a sudden Briscoe gets kill switched.
Oh no, not Briscoe, not the Ring of Honor World Champion.
Well, good call, Maniac.
Yes. No, that wasn't me. That was you, wasn't it? That said it.
Well, you saying that it should be post match after the Team Adam wins. And celebrating. Well,
that was slick. So I just stole that point, but I'll take all the credit for sure.
Typical.
Speaking of taking credit, recently Jericho's been taking credit for a lot of success in AEW. Whether it was Daniel Garcia, whether it was other superstars getting over. Does Hook need the Jericho Vortex to get over in this match to the FTW World Heavyweight Championship? Is anybody picking Jericho here?
There are some I've heard out there say, well, Jericho could, add another belt to his collection and be the what's after the Ocho? What would be 9 in Spanish? I don't know.
The Nuevo. The
Nuevo. Jericho the Nuevo. I mean, that even rhymes. Holy crap. But no, here's a little fun fact that I looked up, and let's do a little train wreck.
Does Jericho and Nuevo rhyme?
Yeah, I don't know about that one, boss.
It sounds to me like it rhymes in an Eminem type of way, but whatever. Let's do a little train wreck trivia. I don't know if it's brought to you by Batavia Downs, but let's just say it is.
It might be.
Hey, listen to me. You don't get it.
Batavia Down is more, lots more.
No, you're old. Shut your mouth, Rob.
I didn't know it was coming. You got to give me a heads up. Anyway,
not you.
Don't
Not
get
you.
cut around
Anyway.
here. You don't get to choose when we do train wreck trivia. That's
don't make me
the
beat you
profit.
guys.
So
I
we will
have
do
power.
train wreck trivia.
But
Wow.
when is the last time Chris Jericho won a singles pay-per-view match?
Oh wow.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go. I have no idea. I'm just naming a pay-per-view, but I'm gonna say like a double. I'm gonna say like a double or nothing
Nope.
AEW championship.
I almost know that his like trail of losing began to Eddie Kingston a couple years ago because it was like
Actually, this
Jericho didn't
came
lose.
after Eddie Kingston.
Oh, it was the Ring of Honor title, actually, probably.
Nope.
What? Was it the AEW championship?
No, that was before. Oh, yeah.
So
Since
Oh, it was
losing,
just
here's the
solo.
He beat MJF.
yes, but I think this was after. That's
Okay,
one
what
of
was
two
it?
singles pay-per-view victories he has had since losing the AEW title.
oh, what?
One was to MJF. He beat MJF. Who was the other guy he beat more recently?
CM Punk.
What?
Did he? No, they didn't ever face off at a pay-per-view.
No.
Was it oh fuck. Sammy Guevara?
Nope.
That's who I was gonna say, but I don't
They
think
never
they
had
ever
a
faced
singles
off.
match not on a pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They play sex gods.
Oh man.
All right, let's move this along here. All Out 2022 over Bryan Danielson.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
And it's been that long since Chris Jericho has had a singles pay-per-view win. So based on that alone, Chris Jericho's job is to put over the young guys. He's put over Eddie Kingston. He's put over MJF before. He's put over who else? I forgot. I had the cage match open. Basically, almost any time there's been a singles pay-per-view match, like he put over MJF first, and then he put his career on the line. So then he had to go over MJF via a match restart or something like that. So we already gave MJF his shine in that particular instance. So Chris Jericho is the veteran. He's got to put over singles talent on pay-per-view. I don't see him, making chaos erupt by winning some stupid FTW title and going over the Young Hook. So I'm going to say Hook.
Okay. I like that.
The Prophet's not
Prophet.
even paying attention.
Prophet fell falling asleep over there.
Because I just don't listen to any of you. So like, I'm falling asleep with how bored I am around here. But yeah, I mean, we already discussed it. Jericho is cooked. I need to get him out of this company. That's mean, but I don't give a shit. But we need to go away for a little bit. Maybe hit a beach, maybe in the Bahamas or something. Enjoy a nice cocktail. He can go sail away to wherever he wants to sail away to. But yeah, Hook's gonna go over, and we'll see where Hook goes next.
You know what Jericho needs at this point in his career? He needs the Grayson Waller rub if he wants to be relevant at all.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, I mean, Hook. Give me a squash, to be honest. I don't give a shit. Like, if that's what gets the crowd like alive to get this pay-per-view underway, do it. By all means, squash Jericho. I do appreciate what Jericho has done, but his time is up, and his time is not now. Hook, and still FTW champion.
Okay.
Which I think the title's stupid, by the way. Just me, but.
And one thing to note, FTW championship means FTW rules.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically an EC match.
Mm-hmm. That is true. One match I think that we all hope isn't a squash is Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, versus Pac. This should be an absolute battle. I will kick it off, but obviously at the end of the day, Okada should win this. He's being brought in as the golden boy. He's being brought in as like your potential champion down the line. I respect Pac, and he was obviously an early powerhouse in AEW, but in this spot, he's more into put in a great match and obviously get Okada over. So I'm looking for a great match. Could be north of 20 minutes potentially with these two. but eventually Okada wins. Slick, what do you got?
Yeah, I've said I think this will be the match of the night, in my opinion. You made great points. Okada really is being built as a powerhouse at the moment. He just pinned one of the biggest baby faces in the company for the Intercontinental title in Eddie Kingston. So there's no reason Pac should win this. This will be a battle for sure, and Pac will look great coming out of this match. But Okada's going to win and retain this belt. And this match being much earlier in the night than the the Young Bucks tag match makes me think that the Young Bucks might do a showing here, pull some EVP type shenanigans, and Okada will end up retaining the Intercontinental title.
Continental.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong company.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
But it's okay. Yeah, at least you apologize. But I can't even do it anymore. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be a banger. This one's gonna be a banger of a match. But like Okada just wanted he's new to the company. They're trying to put him over as over can be. So Okada's gonna retain, and I could see now that they're like doing the more pay-per-views per year, they're gonna have to start speeding up some of these stories. Maybe someone comes out after this match and tries to challenge for the Continental because we got another pay-per-view coming up in a few short weeks. So maybe, but I go Okada.
Okada, for all the reasons you guys said.
Okay, speaking of pulling some EVP powers, he's here and he's throwing his weight around. Your friend, my friend, our friend, Jake Micah. Welcome, sir.
How we doing?
Thanks for showing up.
What up?
How we doing? Doing well. So we talked, Ass Boys Acclaim. We talked Strong O'Reilly. We talked Team Cope versus House of Black. Talked Hook Jericho. If you have any thoughts on those, throw them out here, obviously. But now we're in Okada pack. So what do you got in there?
I heard you guys chatting there a little bit. I agree with everything about Okada. It's been a great way to be presented, to just bring him in, not just as like, great wrestler Okada. They gave him the character. They gave him the shtick right away. It's been good. Yeah, he's winning this. This will be a fantastic match. Everything else, I hope we get Christian Cage back. That's the biggest. I hope Christian makes his triumphant return tonight and do something dastardly to Cope and Co afterwards, after that match. And I hope, and who knows with Hook and Jericho, man. That's gonna be my bathroom break match. Sorry, Hook. Go. I will not be probably.
Hey, you better not take too long in the bathroom. We were saying it might be a squash.
Hey, that's all right. Be quick. That's when I'll turn my attention to Thunder Pelicans, whatever I need to do. That's what'll be happening.
Fair enough. Playoffs are underway.
Seriously, we are underway. So we have a sweep with Okada. That makes sense. Again, like we all said, he's been presented like a superstar. Don't expect that to change. But again, don't expect Pac to go down without a fight either. Pac's no stranger to a big match in a company where some guy's going over. I mean, over a decade ago, he was facing Seth Rollins for the WWE title on a match in Raw. And they put on a classic. So let's see what we got coming on here. We got the TBS Championship. Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart. Let's go to Parthy and go around the horn here. What do you got happening? House of Black already is going to be taking some L's today. We're predicting. Is this going to be another one with Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale?
There are two factors that make me hesitant about my pick. One is the idea that if Willow wins this match, and she's going to be on a collision course with Mercedes at Double or Nothing, and Mercedes is not losing her. Can we all agree that Mercedes is not losing her debut match on pay-per-view for whatever it's worth, whoever she's facing? So if she's on a collision course with Willow Nightingale, it's going to be a Double or Nothing for the TBS Championship. That makes Willow a transitional champion, does it not? And for a fan favorite such as Willow, you don't want to necessarily do that to her, right?
Fuck it.
And also, there is the fact, I don't know if you guys heard, Julia Hart was supposedly injured at a Rampage taping, facing off against Layla Hirsch, which is why when they had the mixed tag match with Malachi and Copeland, or was it Malachi in that match or somebody else from the House of Black?
Brody.
They basically kept the women out of it with the attack on Willow. I don't know if that was going to be part of the storyline or not, But they basically finished with the women and Julia Hart going over Willow with the submission, essentially, to finish that matchup. But it was mostly the men doing the work, supposedly to give Julia Hart time to recover. So does that mean that Julia Hart is set to drop the title if she is hurt enough that she had to be minimized in that match, and then maybe she has to drop it to Willow here? And she did go over in their go-home match, which I've been talking about Wrestling 101. If you go in your go-home match, that means
you and your rule book stuff, dude.
It's what
That
happens.
was ruined with
What I
Cody.
say should happen. It's what almost always happens, and I'm going by it, and I'm remembering it. Unless you got an alternative.
The
theory, but
2020,
Sorry.
the 2020s
Anyways.
don't play by those rules, partner.
This is AEW. We don't follow the rule book, brother.
Tony's a wrestling mark. Doesn't he follow every wrestling rule there is?
No, he fears
Okay.
for his life.
All right. At the end of the day, there's a lot of factors going one way or the other. I'm going to make my pick. I'll say Willow Nightingale, even though it's the implication is she might be a transitional champion. And some say that maybe we should save that match between Willow and Mercedes for All In. But I think there's more pointing towards Willow going over Julia than not. So I'll say Willow wins.
Before I move on, because I'm very disrespected by Partham's pick and by this comment. First off, the Prophet doesn't have counterparts. The Prophet is doing well. But now back to this.
Part of a Prophet.
But now the Prophet is by himself. He does what he wants. He has no counterparts. But now back to this match. I just don't see about like the Willow being a transitional. I don't see them doing it. I don't see her being just a champion for a month. That's a match later down the line because you need a good build for that match. Obviously, we all know it's been started, but we all know Willow was the last person who fought Mercedes. And I don't think that they'll have Willow be a transitional as a face. So I'm going to go Julia Hart winning this one because I think Julia is the one that attacked Mercedes. So I think that will come out, and I'm going Julia Hart.
You really think so?
Yeah.
I mean, who do you think it was?
I mean, if not Julia Hart, then it was Chris Statlander. It was not Willow.
I was going to say maybe we had an alien abduction situation here.
I think Mercedes is lying. I don't think anybody attacked her. I think she hired somebody to fake the attack. I think that's her heel turn. She's trying to just put it on Willow, act like it. I think Willow's winning.
Already a heel though.
She's kind of, but hasn't like done anything outright heelish yet. Like she's been cocky, arrogant, but nothing like crazy. That would be a real heel act.
That would be.
This bottom row does not like the word transitional champion. I don't mind a transitional champion. Sometimes you got to transition to get to a better story. So I think Willow takes it tonight, and then you got a double or nothing match in their second title match between Willow and Mercedes. Makes all sense.
Don't you see the writing on the wall?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
This story is writing itself right in front of our eyes. They're clearly setting up for Mercedes Willow again. And transitional, I hate using that word because Willow's going to win the title, get a dope moment. And yeah, double or nothing's a month away, but you can do like a couple strong showings to build this feud and show the history of the feud with Mercedes and Willow. So I'm going to take Willow to go over here, and Julia Hart probably gets a break, and probably pretty well-deserved, actually. I've really been enjoying Julia Hart's TBS title run. I think it's time for an end, though.
So wait, everyone's on Willow except for the Prophet?
Yeah, I think so.
So far,
yeah.
Yes, bro.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna acknowledge my Prophet here on Wrestling with Emotion, and I'm gonna go with Julia Hart. I think it makes a lot of sense to get it on Willow, and then you have the Mercedes thing up. But you know what? Sometimes the Prophet just knows more than you guys. As case in point, when he predicted Cody Rhodes to win the 2024 Royal Rumble, you guys didn't care about the story at all. The Prophet cared about the story.
Your
so I'm not
story.
gonna lose track of the story. And I'm going to follow the Prophet.
I thought
Thank
he was
you,
just going to
Prophet.
win at the Elimination Chamber to qualify, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, sorry. You didn't have any respect for the story. And I have
To be
respect for the
fair,
story.
we were right. We were right. Then they changed the story back. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. Now, so you
Yeah.
respected the story, but
We
they didn't
respected
respect
the story. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of
your
respect,
story.
you better have some respect for this next match, bruv. Will Ospreay making his, could you call it a pay-per-view debut? I guess as a main roster pay-per-view debut or whatever.
Yeah.
Against Bryan
full-time.
Danielson. Full-time roster debut. This should obviously, goes without saying, should be a banger amongst banger. Real quick, does anybody have Danielson winning this match?
No, bruv.
No.
No, bro.
Danielson said he's going to be finishing up in May, supposedly. And he's not one to care about wins. So he's going to want to put over, whoever he can on the way out.
I agree.
mean,
So then the discussion becomes, is this closer to 20 minutes or is this closer to 30 minutes for a match?
Oh, this is the longest match time. It's got to be
The longest match time of the night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah,
I mean, like, when you think when you think there's a match, Danielson, yeah, shut up, Prophet. Just when you think there's a match that Danielson should win, he just doesn't. So, there's no reason Ospreay should lose either. They've given him insane showings since he's been in AEW. So, obviously he'll win this match. Prophet,
Oh,
go.
well.
Okay.
All right. Well, first, intern, you gotta start doing your job, intern. You gotta mute Slick when I'm trying to talk. You will get fired. If you don't mute him, you're fired. Just like the final boss said, if you count, you're fired. Come on now. But I'm making a prediction here. I think Will Ospreay gets an invitation after this match to leave the Don Callis family and join the BCC.
Wow, I like that prediction. That the Prophet with some heat there. What do you think, head of the table?
I think that makes perfect sense. I think there's a lot of mutual respect here between Ospreay and Danielson, at least on Ospreay's part. Danielson might not be trusting of Ospreay at this point because he's with Don Callis' family, as much as he tried to deny it last night on Collision. I had nothing to do with that, and Danielson's like, yeah, whatever. You hang with him, you know who you're getting in bed with here. But yeah, I could see. I don't know. I mean, I think Ospreay's star might shine a little better if he stood on his own, but I definitely see some mutual respect between Ospreay and the whole BCC. I don't know that he necessarily joined them because, like I said, you want him to stand out as a single star, but it would fit. It would make sense.
I agree. I think there's a lot of directions they can go with it. I think either way, they're going to have a classic one. Micah, you want to put a bow on this Ospreay-Danielson talk?
Yeah, I fully agree with you both that the road to him joining BCC makes a lot of sense. They've had it, especially with Danielson kind of phasing out. Who's the perfect guy to bring back into this group? They need some. It's not that they need star power with it, but with just Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler, it feels like they would be missing something. This feels like it's a different style, but it feels like a natural move, and then can keep him kind of involved back in New Japan whenever they want to, since BCC has been so involved there. Obviously, Moxley carrying their championship right now. I like that. I think this is going to be one of the best matches of the year. Honestly, these two have been on another level for quite some time. I cannot wait to see what they do.
Does
There's a good point
Moxley have
about
a match
finishing
tonight?
up. He might need a replacement. Yeah.
Does Moxley have a match tonight?
No.
Wow.
He's got a match on Dynamite coming up.
Yeah.
For the IWGP Championship, Hobbs.
Will Hobbs, correct? Yeah.
He did have a huge segment to open Dynamite where he was talking about how he was underappreciated. Not exactly great that he's not on the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
underappreciated, and you've held every title there's possibly to hold. But I digress.
You know what though? This is how about this for Happy Hour Hoops? Moxley's almost like the Tim Duncan of wrestling.
Honestly,
he just does everything kind of well. He's virtually done it all. But like at the point, like he doesn't get the acclaim and like some of like the flashy likeness that like everyone else gets. He's just done it.
That's a great call.
I feel
sure.
like I represent Moxley very well. I feel like I'm underappreciated around here, so it works out.
I love the Prophet. The Prophet might be my favorite. The Prophet might be my favorite thing in the world of wrestling right now.
You don't necessarily
maybe give him a little bit up in
hardware
the
to
pick
keep up
rankings,
with.
and maybe I'll appreciate you. Maybe I'll acknowledge you for a change, but you got to win a few things.
Oh,
Yeah,
Speaking of winning Speaking of winning a few things, does anyone have Thunder Rosa winning this AEW women's match?
Fuck no.
Nah.
Okay. All right. So I just want to make
Timeless.
sure. So, what is this setting up for then with Timeless Tony? Mariah May?
It's all about Mariah, and it's Mariah's world, and we're just all living in it. Mariah May,
Is the timeline for that all in? Do we all think?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
And-
Probably lines up well there.
And well,
Yeah.
I mean, all in London too. There's a certain someone who's also from Britain that has been out for a substantially long period of time that had to vacate, or not vacate, but she basically had to give up that women's title to none other than Timeless Tony Storm. So you never know. But
Wait. Which Brit are we talking about? Are we talking about the Brit in name or the Brit in nationality?
Oh, good call.
the
Nationality.
Nationality, my bad. But yeah, I mean, there is a Brit with a name that has also been out for a good amount of time that's associated with the Brit that was the nationality I was talking about. So
Britain name or nationality is fucking hysterical.
That's amazing.
I don't care who you talk to. Yeah. So love that, Jets. Love that, Jets.
by the way, Jamie
yeah.
Hayter's music, banger.
Yeah, one of the best theme songs going.
Banger.
Can we honestly say something here, regardless of my blind Tony Storm praise and everything, that this women's division probably would have been in trouble if she didn't go on the heater that she's been on for the last year?
Agreed.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
especially with the wrestlers.
I'm saying they need. That's what I'm saying. They needed the stopgap between getting Mercedes and losing Jade and everything like that. And Tony Storm has given them, 15 to 20 minutes a night to build around, for sure, which obviously goes a
100%.
long way. With that said, speaking of building and going a long way, what is this? The fourth installment
Yes.
of FTR versus the Young Bucks World Tag Team Championship Tournament, final ladder match for the vacant AEW World Tag Team Championship. I feel like fucking what's his face, Excalibur. But yeah, this should obviously, goes without saying, be a classic highlight filled wrestling match. Partham, why don't you start us off? Let's go around the horn. What do you think is going to happen in FTR-Young Bucks 4?
I don't even know that we necessarily need to go around the horn. Does anybody have FTR winning this match?
No.
Bueller?
No.
Nope.
No.
All right, let's go a step further. Does anybody not have Jack Perry coming back in this match in some way?
No.
Then we all know that how this is going to go. It's basically writing on the wall.
I mean, this is AEW Dynasty, the first ever. There's no way the AEW EVPs lose on the first ever AEW Dynasty pay-per-view. And what better way to cop themselves out than the scapegoat himself?
We need the elite with a continental title, the tag team titles, and Jack Perry all standing strong after this. 100%.
Could we see someone from for FTR side come back? We're obviously going to see Jack Perry return.
Danny?
Could we see someone else on the other side come through? Who knows who's healthy, who's not? But I mean, EVP have caused a lot of problems throughout the years. Someone could be helping out FTR on that side.
Well, Copeland's kind of their closest guy as of now, but he's already got his own thing to deal with.
Yeah, he's in a beef. Danny's the only option after he got beat down the other night and sticking up for FTR.
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
he did take a real beat down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it.
He takes out Perry after he shows up.
Yeah, I mean, but then, this is going to be chaos, and I'm so here for it.
This is going to be chaos. So what are we thinking? Perry shows up in the equivalent of after the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter, essentially. Probably to knock somebody out, put someone through a table.
Well, you were being figurative, of course.
Yeah. I'm saying he's not going to show up. Yeah,
he's going to knock him off the ladder, and Young Bucks are going to climb. And they're all going to stand.
Is he going to do the obnoxious AEW whole, or is he going to knock somebody through glass?
Oh my great!
Are we gonna see
keep going back to that well?
Are we gonna see some form of up your ass punk from Jack Perry?
I don't know about from
per se, will he help the Bucks and then stand in the ring and go like this?
Or like this.
Can you imagine? Oh my god, if he had to go to sleep on somebody, bro, I will mark out. for sure.
Yeah, it should be crazy. But so everyone has
Because the most over guy in that match is going to be CM Punk, right? Because
Oh,
that's
there
how
will be
you
a
get your
CM Punk
heat.
chant. There will be a
Drew
Punk
McIntyre
chant
knows
in
that.
match.
So let's go back real quick, though, because the reason this ended up happening this way and the reason we're now stuck with the vacant championship match is because Sting and Darby Allin ended up retaining. And, the other pay-per-view. I look back at that, and I still think that was the right decision because we always talk about booking and do they do it right, et cetera, et cetera. That moment, that pay-per-view being able to stand on its own and then going through this whole other journey, even if it ends with the Young Bucks getting the titles at the end, I still think was amazing. And I do think I have my AEW blinders off when I look at it that way.
One little question about Jack. What was that music that he had last time? Was it Beethoven or some kind of symphony or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, it was.
Does he stay with that going forward if he comes back?
Yes.
Probably. I mean,
think
that'd be a
Because
good one.
it's irritating and people are off put by it, so it makes for perfect heel music.
Yep.
yes.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get the Prophet his own heel music if he keeps running over everyone like this on every show. Speaking of running over on everyone on every show, that's what Samoa Joe has been doing for the last near year in AEW on his path to the AEW World Championship. He's been champ now for about 4 months, but he faces his biggest obstacle in the form of a man who owns the house wherever he goes, Swerve Strickland. So with that said, guys, we've talked about it on the show. We've talked about it on the weeklies at length. Is it time? Is it the moment for Swerve Strickland? Is it the time for Prince Nana to ascend to the throne of AEW and the throne of professional wrestling in the form of the AEW World Championship? Let's go with Slick to Micah around the horn, and then I'll cap it off for the show.
Yeah, Maniac, you and I were talking yesterday. I mean, Swerve Strickland was at the St. Louis Cardinals game with the AEW title over his shoulder, posted on the official AEW Instagram page. And I know there was custom Cardinals plates on it. It was a custom belt. It wasn't the AEW championship. But I mean, come on. Like I said earlier in the show, don't you see the writing on the wall? This is AEW Dynasty, the first ever. What better way to kick off a new era of AEW with a new AEW champion in the form of Swerve Strickland? He's one of the hottest wrestlers in the world right now. It shows with the crowd. And beating a powerhouse like Samoa Joe is only another thing to add to your resume. And doing it for the AEW World title to win for the first time is definitely something to be proud of. And Swerve Strickland is going to be and new at the end of the night of AEW Dynasty.
Yeah, man, it's about damn time. It really is. I really thought that it could happen anytime this year. It seems like this is perfectly set up for it. They had a great triple threat match with Hangman Page involved. That's the only out of left field thing they could really pull off here, but this feels pretty straightforward. I don't think it's going to be very a longer, that's why I think Danielson and Ospreay will be the longest match. This doesn't feel like it's going to be a 30-minute, 35-minute type thing. Good 20, 25 minutes between these two. Joe beating down Swerve and him just kind of being resilient and powering through and getting that crowning moment will be a great way to send this pay-per-view off the air. And Swerve's era will be, I think it's going to be wonderful and be amazing as champion. I'm very excited. You talk about its transitional champions. Samoa Joe has been the perfect one for this, switching it back over to Swerve, and not a better guy that Swerve should go over to. He's been obviously been a tentpole of this industry for a long time. So I've really enjoyed Samoa Joe's run, and he's made this build pretty fun. I love the stuff on Wednesday to the go home build for this, but it's time for Swerve, and I can't wait to see it.
First off, whose house?
Swerve's
house.
Intern, mute them all. Intern, come on now. This is my house, the Prophet's house.
Rob's house. Rob's house.
Now for AEW, whose house?
Rob's house.
No, the intern. What are you doing around here?
You
now
yourself,
it's Swerve's
intern.
house. I said AEW. This is Swerve's house. And Swerve is going on top tonight. Finally, it's his turn. Prince Nana is going to get the throne. Swerve's going to get the title, and we're going to all do some dancing at the end of the night. Swerve's house. And this house is my house. Get it right, God damn it.
Prophet, it may be your house, but I sit at the head of the table. So know your role and shut your mouth. Yes, of course Swerve's going to go over. Swerve had his own commercial, did he not, Slick?
Yes.
We pointed that out in the chat. Again, I'm going to go back to the well of Wrestling 101, Joe Stoll on the Go Home show. And, okay, Micah, you pointed out that Hangman might be a factor. I don't see Hangman coming in here to cost Swerve because I think Hangman will be Swerve's first challenge if Hangman is coming back for his title. But Micah, do you think Hangman is going to make his presence known at the end, or is Swerve going to have his moment to stand tall and hold the belt up, and we're going to go out on that?
I think Swerve gets his moment, but I just always hear Hangman in the back of my head saying, "You're never going to hold that championship because of me." And if there's another way you could do it, I don't know. If maybe he messes up. I don't like and it doesn't actually cost him. He comes out. Swerve just gets over all the odds over Joe and Hangman. I don't think he's coming back tonight though. I think it'll be Hangman coming back on a Dynamite very soon and being like enraged that Swerve has the title. Maybe even the early as Wednesday.
I think
let's do a little projection here. Will Ospreay is being tagged by a lot of people as the next man, the next face of the company.
Yeah.
Are we looking forward to Swerve as the champion versus Ospreay, the challenger at All In at Wembley?
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I think the first title match will be Hangman, and also I think we have our first intern fired today because I was muted prior to you speaking. So I think we're fighting here an intern. But back to this, I think Hangman and Swerve's the next one.
The interesting thing about Hangman too is he got fired from the Elite, so he can also transition to that storyline at some point if they want him to. Because
he got suspended. I think
suspended. That's right.
Kenny
got
fired
fired.
from the Elite.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear
That's
on
true,
Dynamite the other night that when Taz was defending the EVPs and Excalibur was like, "But they fired Kenny freaking Omega," and he was like, "Yeah, that's can't really argue with that."
Do you think? Speaking of Kenny, do we think he's coming back anytime soon, or is he out for a while?
He's out for a bit.
He still has to get his surgery.
Diverticulitis surgery, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, who knows? I did see he was like doing a live stream last night. I hope Kenny's doing well. Obviously, wrestling is better with Kenny Omega in it. So
Kenny's been dropping some
1,000%.
knowledge, some little insider hints here and there about different things on his his streams going on there. So I mean, I miss Kenny as a wrestler and on-screen presence, but it's kind of interesting to see him, talking about wrestling, out of AEW realm.
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of great points were made on this show today, but you guys, the idea that you think that Swerve Strickland is just going to win this AEW title and Hangman's going to be waiting around until like Wednesday, or he's going to be waiting around until a couple weeks from now to like run. If it is even a hint that Swerve is about to win, Hangman is coming out and interfering in this match. But then what's going to happen is going to be absolute cinema as Prince Nana grabs the crown and clocks Hangman. Swerve off the top rope and new AEW champion as Swerve and Nana grind in the background. Swerve Strickland as AEW starts a new dynasty of superstars and talent as they move forward in their programming. It should be Swerve Strickland, and it should be cinema tonight on AEW Dynasty. Make sure you check it out.
I do want to address one thing before
address it.
So, I mean, does anybody have MJF in the picture soon?
Well, soon. Okay, soon.
I think Double or Nothing he shows up. Or no, you know what?
I think
he doesn't show up at Double or Nothing. He shows up at Forbidden Door on Long Island.
Oh,
it's Forbidden Door's thing. He doesn't care for New Japan.
But it's on Long Island.
Yeah, that is true. He calls New Japan a shit promotion, like an indie promotion.
I think it's more so because it's on Long Island. He'll show up.
That's fair. That's fair. But if you're talking about the longevity of AEW and what he supposedly is going to represent over the next couple of years, though, it would be a great spot to have Swerve win, do a full celebration. Yep.
I'll be watching till the very last second of the show. That's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, thank you for watching to the very last second of this show. Thank you for following along. All of our panel, Michael Partham, Rob Ryan, 10108. You got Jake Micah, Jake's from State Farm, Jake the Snake from State Farm. We got Slick L. We got myself, Maniac. Make sure you're following along. Should be a great show with AEW Dynasty. This is an all elite program. Thanks for following along. And make sure to go have a good Sunday.